see what's causing it to break down. So I've seen the impact, and that's why I'm still here, even though my
Yeah, it's pretty hard to leave. Once you're in this with your own kids for 3 or 4 years, even though they become seniors and leave, well, now you get freshmen that you've been working with for a year, or sophomores, and you know, you just can't, it's, you know, you just, like Chris was saying, you see the impact and what it has on the kids, and yeah, yeah. But yeah, just everything we have is just tremendous. I mean, we compete with roughly 3,500 teams every year, and I think I was telling Doug, there's maybe 5 to 10% of the teams that have the resources that we have, and those are actually the teams that we're starting to compete with now when we go to world championships and whatnot. I mean, these kids don't realize it, but they're pretty darn spoiled. Maybe they do realize it, I don't know. But you know, like yesterday, you know, Laura and Austin, you know, they did the CAD work on this bottom belly pan, working with Connor, who's another mentor, and Chris. You know, they CAD'd it up, they converted it to CAM, they ran it on the machine last night while Jesselyn and I, who's a 9th grader, by the way, her and I built the frame. The frame was done, they finished the belly pan, brought it out here, laid it on there, and it was perfect. And,
we haven't assembled everything yet.
True, there's still a lot more to go on this, but, you know, and I think it's like a 32nd or a 16th off somewhere, but I mean, it's pretty darn accurate. I mean, it's gonna drive straight, it's gonna do everything we want it to do, so, you know, 6, 7 years ago, you know, we would have had to send Doug and Zephyr the drawings, and he would have to machine it. It would be 3 or 4 days delay. You know, so where we're bringing the program today is it's just tremendous to be able to produce a part. And let's say we put it on last night and it didn't fit, it would have literally been 20 minutes to fix it, and another, how long did it take to run this, Gabby?
2 hours.
Took 2 hours to make the pan. So we could have had a whole nother one made in like a 3-hour period. But you know, that's just one little example of, you know, of what we're able to do. Another one is we started getting more competitive. So Chris started buying gearboxes that come with stuff like this, which is pocketed for weight. But we ran this for 1 full season, and these things started twisting and getting kind of weak and messed up. So Chris took the design, kids recatted this whole thing with less pocketing. Did we go to thicker?
Nope,
Same, just less pocketing, so it's stronger. And that's what we ran all last year. We didn't have not one problem with the drivetrain last year, and that's what's going to be on this year's robot as well. But anyway, this whole morning is, you know, really just, we've tried doing this a couple times with just, you know, a little bit of success, and I think we just need to try to keep doing it and try to keep getting the sponsors to come out, because there's 3 or 4 other ones that aren't here. So this, every time we go to a competition, you have the competitive field, and I'm sure the kids told you this is like half of it. The field is usually twice this big, and this is kind of where the red alliance would score, and then the blue alliance would be scoring down here, and there's defense that's involved and whatnot. But then you also have a whole nother gym where all the teams stage their robots. That's called the pits, and every team is given a 10-foot square area. So just something that, you know, we want to make, that's what our pit looks like when we go to a competition. I mean, there's not the donuts and stuff. And that's, that bench, you know. Huh?
There could be
donuts. But, you know, that's a rolling tool cart that we built 4 or 5 years ago that folds up and transports in the trailer. It's got phone charging on it. Perfect timing. Can you text your girlfriend and see when she's going to be here?
Which one?
Sid. Anyway, just, you know, we try to promote our sponsors as best we can. Sometimes we're late keeping things updated on the website, you know.
We want to brag that we have some cool sponsors.
Yes. So we try to recognize the sponsors as best we can, and I'm gonna go grab a couple of brochures that if you guys want one, you can have it. While maybe the kids talk a little bit, maybe Gabby.
What?
You go first.
What about?
I don't know.
know, just talk about your last 3 steps. Talk about why did you join the team?
So I'm Gabby. I am a junior this year, and I'm our team's main machinist. So I run the CNC machine that's in that room. So about 3 years ago, three and a half years ago, our team always does a presentation in the 8th grade science classes at Cascade Junior High. And so I was sitting, listening to the presentation. I'm like, okay, this seems like a really cool opportunity. So that summer I checked it out and I started working on, the first thing I did was I helped build an off-season drivetrain. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really want to stick with this. So 3 years later, here I am, still machining. So within the first couple months of being on the team, Randy talked to me. He was like, we're gonna get a CNC machine. Do you know what that is? I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And so he showed me some videos and I was like, okay, that looks kind of cool. I'll try it out. And so I worked with Chris's son, Alec. He was a senior at the time and I was a freshman. And he taught me how to run the machine and then taught me CAM, which is converting the CAD drawings to a language the machine can use. And I really stuck with it and I really liked it. And so I'm still machining today. And I'm in the process of teaching a freshman this year. So when I leave in 2 years, we can keep that going.
So none of that whole CAD camming, whole entire process, machining it apart, putting it on a robot, it's not available at Cascade High School, State and High School. It's just not at the high school level. You know, and that's what we tell the staff at those schools is, you know, our purpose is to complement what you guys are trying to do. We're not trying to compete with you guys, but I mean, that's just an example of, and to me, it's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy that we have, you know, a freshman, sophomore that could basically go work for Doug, you know, the day they graduate from high school. You know, we're trying to be a college prep program and beyond. We don't want to just teach them how to take tests in school. Anyway, Laura, do you want to say anything? Probably not. Why did you join the team?
I joined the team so that I could be a little bit different because they didn't have exactly things like this at school. At school, the only thing you could do was like wood shop or welding, but you can't actually do hands-on things, building stuff. I'm the main CAD student. I am teaching another person in the same grade as me right now. I got him to join the team last year in 3rd trimester. And it's not easy doing the CAD by yourself. I had to do that last year, but I have extra help now, so that's a lot easier on me. We also have like 2 or 3 computers that we use now, and before we didn't have some of the communication that we needed, so things weren't communicated correctly, and I would get something and then someone else would tell me, oh, what are you doing, that's wrong, and then it would be a huge mess. But since we have a little bit more people that are understanding the CAD, it's a lot easier to do the work.
Luke,
Me?
what school do you go to?
I go to South Salem High School in Salem, and I guess like the main reason I really joined the team was I've always kind of had an interest with machining, and I just decided, oh, CNC, I've never really gotten to do that, which Daddy's teaching me right now, and so I'm still learning that. But, you know.
It's really good too.
All right, we'll go out of order so it's not all scripted here. Megan, tell us about you. So
My
you're-
name's Megan Cook. I'm the driver and I run on electrical. When I joined the team, I was a freshman and I didn't think I could do anything. So I went on video and I was pretty bad at that. And I know Randy saw me, but he convinced me to try and do other things like electrical, and then he eventually convinced me that I could probably drive. And I kind of stayed on the team because I don't know how to say no. But I'm glad I did, but yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to.
So she helps with electrical right now and is a driver. She drives her a lot. She's a senior, so. And gotta find somebody else to drive the robot.
I can come back.
Only 17.
But I really enjoy the team and I'm glad I stayed.
Does anybody else wanna say anything? Taylor, Josh, Josiah?
Sure. So, why I joined the team?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in middle school, they had different. So I've always had like an interest in like more software, and that's why I joined the team right now. But in middle school, they had different like game making classes that you could take, and it had very basic software. And I always had like an interest in it. I really enjoyed doing that in middle school. But then after like they came in, did the presentation in the classroom, in a science classroom, it was just perfect match pretty much. So I joined the team and I learned that there was a whole other like competitive aspect to it, and I'm a more competitive person, so it was just working out perfectly. And I love the team. I love everything that the mentors have to offer, and like I'm just trying to help out as much as I can, especially on the software end.
So one of the things about when we get a challenge every year, we start competing, is a big component to us being competitive is studying other teams, watching videos, and really analyzing, what they do and how they can either help us or hurt us. And so that's something that Josiah picked up over the last couple of years, and he's like our main strategist to where he, it's pretty crazy all the data and information he pulls, so that every time we get ready to go run a match, he gets with the drive team and talks them through who we're going against. So our team is like really well prepared for every match we enter, and again, that's just another. It's a huge thing, but it's something people don't realize how critical it is sometimes.
Yeah, we used to be the team that we show up and go, well, what do you want us to do? We'll do it. And now we're the team, we've earned respect, and we're now the team that says, this is how we've analyzed this match, and this is our strategy, and other teams are now listening to us.
Yeah.
That was a hard road to go down.
Yeah. We definitely have a lot more respect and credibility as a program today more than we ever have. You guys have any questions?
The kids don't get any school credit for this program at all.
I don't think so. No.
Some states have actually made robotics a varsity sport.
Oh, what?
A varsity sport. Oregon's not there.
Yeah. Washington is much further advanced in their educational recognition of the robotics and this program and what they do. But are the teachers pretty supportive for the most part?
Definitely. They're really understanding about it. When we say, hey, we're going to be gone for a week to go to Houston for a robotics competition, they're like, okay, you'll have some work to make up, but for the most part, they're like really excited to hear about it. And like a lot of my teachers, when I come back, they're like, okay, take 5 minutes to tell us how you did it. And like they're actually genuinely interested in what we're doing. So.
Yeah, even some of them come out to the shop to see what we're doing sometimes.
And sometimes they watch our matches in the classroom.
Yeah, they do. When we're like gone, they stream the video. When we're not even there, they will watch it with the class.
That was pretty cool. Seeing that last year, seeing that much support from a teacher, showing our matches during the school period was pretty nice.
Oh, of course.
Make sure you stop by the CAD station and see how, it's amazing what we're doing this year, way beyond what I can do, thankfully to another mentor that is helping us on that. But it's pretty cool to see where we're at now.
Yeah. Basically, we're at a point where instead of Laura and Austin just drawing parts to be made, they're actually helping us getting to the point which Randall was designing the robot by putting all those parts into assemblies so that we could actually make that robot work on the computer, which helps us develop the parts and make them more accurate and just the robot 100% better. So that's kind of like really exciting, and it's one of the next big steps that we're doing. If there's nothing else, we can run the robot. So, did you guys tell them that this is just our practice robot? So, do you want to tell them?
Sure. So, the past few years, we've decided to build 2 robots. The first one we prototype, and kind of like Brandy said, it's our testing robot and our practice robot. So this is what we build the different versions of, like the intake for the cargo. That's the third version.
Fifth or sixth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It's our Frankenstein arm. It's been taken apart and re-put back together so many times.
Yeah, so we definitely take it apart, put it back together, slap it on this robot, see if it works. And then the last couple weeks of our 6-week build season, we build the second robot, which is where we finalize, for the most part, everything we want. So that's what that drivetrain that Randy had showed, that's what that one's going to be. There's some gearboxes around here, and then we'll start building the final version of the hatch mechanism, the climbing gearboxes, the intake for the cargo. So this one is, like Chris said, our Frankenstein, because this is the one we've been testing with and like making modifications to find what really works for us and what works well with the field and programming and everything along those lines. So yeah.
So when you make the second robot, do you cannibalize this one and make it out of some of those parts, or
Talk about our clock.
a completely different one?
What?
The clock. The clock up on the wall.
Oh, so, right. So, we have the 6 weeks to build it, and we have 10 days and 11 hours, 40 minutes left of build season. So we're on a tight schedule. So within that time, we do build the 2 robots, and sometimes we'll move pieces back and forth if we run out of time to like machine all of what we need. If we want to take like one of the climbing gearboxes off of that, we can put it on that robot. But I think for the most part, we get
What happens in 10 days?
in 10 days, so when we're done with the build season, we have to take our final robot and put it in this giant bag and just zip tie it up, and we can't touch it until our next competition, or our first competition. So everything on the robot has to be done until it's time to go to competition, and then we unzip it from the bag. We have inspectors that watch us like take it out and make sure that we're not like adding pieces and modifying it. So it's pretty crazy. Like it has to be, our full robot has to be done and in a bag, and that's what we go compete with. So
One of the big reasons we build 2 robots is programming needs more time to try to develop like the autonomous mode and just to get the robot running better. And then also the more practice that the drivers get driving, then the better they are at competition. So it's a way that we can keep working on the robot, and keep practicing with it, keep developing it, tweak it, fine tune it, even though the other one's bagged for competition. And then when we get to the competition and we unbag it, if there's a little adjustment we want to make that we learned from this one, they allow you some time at the competition to make those changes. So it's the high level programs do this all the time. Otherwise, you 6 weeks to build a competitive robot is pretty hard to do. And that also points out the cost factor. You know, there's $4,000 or $5,000 worth of electronics that are on that robot that we have to have extra of. And then we're getting to the point where there's certain components we don't trust for a second year. So there's some electrical components, you know, $2,000 to $3,000 that we just buy new every year now because we don't want it to fail. Did you hear from Sid?
Should I try and holler at her?
No, it's okay. Somebody else can operate. So any other questions? We want to just drive the robot around and
No, that's it.
I want to see it. I want to see it too. It's fun.